Hello everyone, my name is Sierra and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my current hip mobility routine. Now this video is a bit chaotic, but I hope you can feel the positive energy and have a good time. So first off, let's get started with some basic internal hip rotations. So in this move, you're going to be folding your knees over while keeping the rest of your body fairly stable. This movement is going to get the blood flowing to your hips and help warm up your hips for the rest of the routine. So we're going to be doing each move for about a minute, but you can go longer if you need to, or you can even go shorter if you're not feeling it right now. Next up, we're going to transition into our 90-90 hip openers. So this one really targets all areas and muscles of the hip and helps with squat depth as well as feeling really open and loose when attempting splits or other stretches. So be sure to keep your knees bent in a 90-degree angle as the name implies, and then keep your back straight, core engaged here. This stretch should really feel good on your hips and upper thighs. All right, now let's keep this movement going, and in this same 90-90 pattern, we're gonna push up onto our legs here. So this adds a bit of weight and resistance to your stretch, which will help the stretch really reach much deeper into the hips. So if you need to use your hands, go for it. Otherwise, try to initiate this movement completely with your legs and your core. And with this routine, you probably will be scooting around your mat a little bit. And that's completely normal. Just take some time to recenter if you need. Next up, let's go ahead and walk our feet to the center, and we're going to transition to a goddess pose. So sit in this position with as straight of a back as possible. This is really going to stretch those hips, kind of all areas of the legs. So use your elbows and your arms to push your knees apart a little bit wider to feel a deeper stretch throughout your hips and your legs. This is a great position to sit in because you find really juicy movement here. You can rock, you can bounce. It's just a very open and freeing position. All right, and now we're going to step our feet out a bit wider and go into a low lunge style stretch. So when I lived in China, this is one of the stretches our Tai Chi teacher had us do before each class, and he would always go super low and he never had to use his hands, and I told myself that one day I would be able to do that. So this is actually one of my favorite moves in my routine. So I do challenge you to do the same. If you have to put your hands down to do this movement, go for it. Otherwise, try to keep your hands up. All right, and then to add on to this movement, we're going to go ahead and bend our leg and do a nice little fold. Go ahead, sit back on your glutes and bend that leg over. Keep it nice and tight to the body and fold over at the hips. So it's important here to make sure you're feeling it in the right spot. So don't round your back. Your back movement will be small because that's all you really need to get a good stretch throughout the hips and the legs. We don't want this to turn into a spine stretch, we want it to stay in the hips. So a small movement is all that you need. Okay, so now we are going to maneuver our way into a lunge for some open knee and open hip stretches. When you step into your lunge here, go ahead and bring both hands to the center and keep your foot on the outside of your shoulder. Then go ahead and use your hand to really push your knee away from your body. This is a brilliant stretch to get really deep down into the hip and the hip flexors. Then taking some downward facing dogs here, if you so choose, we're going to get back into those stretches. Hopefully you've managed to stay on your mat, and as you can see, I've been completely pushed off of mine at this point, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look perfect. As long as you're feeling the stretches where you need to feel them, it's all good. All right, on this round, we're going to go into a lunge and chest opener stretch. Try to keep your hips square to the mat here and really initiate this movement from the core. You should be rotating those shoulders open so you're getting as deep of a chest stretch and hip stretch as you can. And when you're ready, go ahead and go into your lizard lunge. If you can't go all the way down to your forearms here, no problem. Aim to get there by pushing yourself progressively further each time you do this stretch. Little steps make the biggest difference. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And if you want to take some movement here, you can saw back and forth to really sink lower and deeper into that stretch. right, and then go ahead and roll that out with some downward facing dogs. And you know what? That is about it. It's quick and easy. You can do this routine daily to help find mobility and flexibility in your hips. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in my next video.